Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a highly practical skill, one that honestly has the power to change not just your own life, but the lives of people right there in your community. We are breaking down exactly how to write a highly effective application letter for volunteer work. Whether you're aiming to help out at a local animal shelter, maybe a food bank, or even a big international NGO, the absolute hardest part is often just figuring out how to make that very first professional introduction. But don't worry, by the time we wrap up today, you are going to have a crystal clear, totally repeatable blueprint for exactly what to say to get your foot in the door.
So let me ask you this. How can you turn your desire to help the community into actual, tangible action? I mean, we all have causes we care deeply about, right? We watch the news, we see things happening in our own neighborhoods, and we think, man, I really want to help with that. But having the desire is really only 50% of the equation. Organizations that rely on volunteers are often incredibly busy, they're usually understaffed, and they desperately need a way to filter passionate people into organized, helpful roles. They need to know who you are, why you care, and honestly, most importantly, when you can actually show up.
Okay, let's dive into this. To get us started, imagine a quick little word puzzle, kind of like a classic game of Hangman. We've got a blank word here, and it basically represents the very first hurdle you've got to clear when you want to start volunteering. It's a very specific kind of document. Now, you might be guessing resume or CV, but for volunteer positions, especially those entry-level community roles, there's something much more personal and direct that these organizations are looking for.
And boom, here's the answer, the application letter. This single piece of paper, or let's be real, probably a single email, is literally the ultimate bridge between your good intentions and your very first day on the job. An application letter isn't just some boring formality, it is your personal pitch. It's where you get to clearly state your intentions, show off a bit of your personality, and prove that you're a serious, reliable candidate who's going to be a massive asset to their cause, rather than, a burden to their busy volunteer coordinator.
To really get a feel for how this works, we're going to use a real-world case study today. We have an actual advertisement here from the Heart to Heart charitable organization. They're broadcasting that they need volunteers at their head office. Now, when most people see an ad like this, they immediately start stressing out, overthinking what to write in their letter. But here's a secret. A great application letter is easy because the organization has basically already handed you the cheat sheet. Our very first job is simply to deconstruct their advert.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how easily we can extract exactly what the organization wants just by reading carefully. It's like a giant puzzle. On one hand, we've got the specific duties, welcoming guests and visitors, and receiving and sorting donations. Okay, so that tells us this is a public-facing role that also requires some physical organization. Then, on the other hand, we've pulled out the core qualities they're explicitly asking for. They need someone who is reliable and hardworking. Lock those two words in your brain because they are absolutely the golden key to writing a letter that gets a resounding yes.
Section 1. The 3-paragraph structure. Your blueprint for success.
Once you've decoded that advertisement, it is time to write. And you don't need to stare at a terrifying blank page, you just need to follow this structure to completely eliminate writer's block. Let's break it down into 3 simple steps. Step 1 is the administrative stuff. State exactly what job you're applying for and where you found the info. Step 2, well, this is the heart of the letter. It's where you say exactly why you want the job and why your specific qualities make you a fantastic fit. And step 3 is your closer. Establish your availability for an interview and tell them exactly when you can start. That is the whole shebang. Do these 3 things and you've built the perfect framework.
Moving right along to our next section, drafting your application letter, reconstructing the perfect pitch.
So, what does this framework actually look like in the wild? We are going to reconstruct an actual winning letter submitted by a sample applicant. Let's call her Gwen Ha-an. We'll kick things off with paragraph 1, the opening. Remember, volunteer coordinators are incredibly busy people. They might be juggling 3 or 4 different programs at once. So your first paragraph needs to be incredibly direct. No room for fluff or long, winding backstories here. You've got to immediately answer 2 questions. Why are you writing to me, and how did you find us?
Take a listen to Ha-an's opening sentence. I am writing to apply for a volunteer position at the head office of Heart to Heart charitable organization. It is perfectly clear, right? There's absolutely zero ambiguity. She even specifies at the head office, which proves she actually read the advert carefully because as we saw earlier, that's exactly where they need the help.
And her next sentence knocks out the second requirement of the opening paragraph. I saw the job advert on our school notice board. Now, adding where you found the information isn't just being polite. It actually answers an immediate administrative question for them. Charities track where their applicants come from so they know which of their ads are actually working. By telling them this right out of the gate, you're being helpful before you've even been hired. It's a great look.
Let's move to and see how this builds into paragraph 2, the pitch. This is your moment to explain why you are the perfect fit. You've grabbed their attention with a solid, professional opening, and now you have to convince them that you're exactly the kind of person they want in their building. This paragraph is all about blending your personal passion with a direct reflection of the skills they literally just asked for.
Houghton kicks off this paragraph by establishing her core motivation. She writes, I am interested in volunteer work and projects to help people in our community. This is absolutely crucial. Before you go rattling off a list of skills, you have to establish a genuine connection to the organization's mission. Charities want people who actually care about the cause. This simple sentence proves that her heart is totally in the right place.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. Notice her exact words here. I am polite, reliable, and hardworking. Remember our breakdown of the job advert? The organization explicitly asked for volunteers who are reliable and hardworking. Ha-On directly mirrors those exact words back to them. And no, this isn't cheating. It's just stellar communication. It subconsciously signals to the reader, hey, I am exactly what you are looking for. Then she adds that she has great people skills, which perfectly hits on that duty of welcoming guests and visitors. It's just a flawless pitch.
Now we've reached the final stage. Paragraph 3, closing the deal. You've introduced yourself, you've proven you've got the right skills and the right mindset, and now you've got to finish strong. This final paragraph is all about logistics. You want to make it as absolutely easy as possible for them to hire you. If you leave them guessing about when they can talk to you or when you're even free to work, well, your letter might just end up at the bottom of the pile. See how confidently Ha-On handles this closer. I am available for an interview on any weekday after 4:30 p.m. or at weekends. If my application is successful, I can start next month. She gives them exact parameters. They don't have to play a frustrating game of email tag just to figure out a meeting time. She's completely removed all the friction from the hiring process. It's confident, it's professional, and it tells the coordinator, I'm organized, I respect your time, and I'm ready to go.
And finally, our last section, final checks and feedback, polishing your application.
So the crucial point is, you followed the structure, you've matched the job description, and your draft is done. Huge congratulations on getting this far. But wait, before you smash that send button, remember that it's almost impossible to evaluate your own writing objectively. We are all blind to our own typos. Think about all the different inputs required to make something great: ideas, advice, opinions, feedback. Before you send your application to an organization, you absolutely must hand it to a teacher, a mentor, or even just a trusted friend. Ask them to cross-check your letter against the original job advert. Get their honest opinion. A fresh set of eyes will catch things you missed, ensure your tone is on point, and give you the ultimate confidence that your pitch is totally bulletproof. And that brings us to the end of our blueprint. You now possess the exact structure you need to confidently apply for any community service role out there. This 3-paragraph method works so well because it prioritizes clarity, directly answers what the organization needs, and completely removes administrative headaches. So I want to leave you with one final vital question to think about. Where will you volunteer next? Take this framework, find a cause that really speaks to you, and just start drafting. The world is full of problems, but your community is waiting for someone exactly like you to step up and help solve them. Catch you next time.